March. Me and Raleigh were enjoying hot chocolate in the cafeteria the rest of the patrols today, and there was an announcement on the loudspeaker. Raleigh Jefferson, report to Mr. Winsky's office immediately. Raleigh went down to Mr. Winsky's office, and when Raleigh came back 15 minutes later, he looked pretty shaken up. Apparently, Mr. Winsky got a call from a parent who said he witnessed Raleigh terrorizing the kindergartners when he was supposed to be walking them from home from school. Mr. Winsky was really mad about it. Raleigh said Mr. Winsky yelled at him for about 10 minutes, and his actions disrespected the badge. I think I might what happened about all this. Last week, Raleigh had to take a quiz during the fourth grade period, so I walked the kindergartners home on my own. It had rained that morning, and there were lots of worms on the sidewalk, so I decided to have some fun with the kids. But some neighborhood lady saw what I was doing and yelled at me from her porch. It was Mrs. Irvine, who was friends with Rowley's mom. She must have thought I was Rowley because I was borrowing his coat, and I wasn't about to correct her either. Rowley Jefferson, the principal is going to hear about this. Yes, ma'am. I forgot about the whole incident until today. Anyway, Mr. Winsky told Rowley he's going to have to apologize to the kindergartners tomorrow morning and that he's suspended from patrols for a week. So I knew I should probably just tell Mr. Winsky it was me who chased the kids with the worms, but I wasn't really ready to set the record straight just yet. I knew if I confessed, I'd lose my hot chocolate privileges, and right there was enough to make me keep quiet for a time being. At dinner tonight, Mom called to tell something was bothering me, and she came up to my room afterward to talk. I told her I was in a tough situation and I didn't know what to do. I've got to give Mom credit for how she handled it, not trying to pry and get all the details. All she said was I should try to do the right thing because it's our choices that make us who we are. I figure that's pretty decent advice, but I'm still not 100% sure what I'm going to do tomorrow, Thursday. Well, I was up all night tossing and turning over the Raleigh situation, but I finally made up my mind. I decided the right thing to do was just to let Raleigh take one for the team this time around. I'm sorry I terrorized you children. On the way home from school, I came clean with Raleigh and told him the whole truth about what happened and how it was me who chased the kids with the worms. Then I told him there was a lesson we could both learn from this. I told him I learned to be more careful about what I do in front of Mrs. Irvine's house, and that he learned a valuable lesson too, which is this: be careful about who you lend your coat to. I guess this has been a learning experience for both of us. To be honest with you, my message didn't seem to be getting to Rowley. We were supposed to hang out after school today, but he said he was just going to go home and take a nap. I couldn't really blame him because if I didn't have my hot chocolate this morning, I wouldn't have any much energy either. When I got home, Mom was waiting for me at the front door. Did you do the right thing? Yeah. Mom took me out to get some ice cream and a special treat. And what this whole episode taught me is that every once in a while, it's not such a bad idea to listen to your mother. Slurp. Tuesday. There was another announcement in the loudspeaker today. To be honest with you, I kind of figured it was coming. Jeffrey Heffley, please report to Mr. Winsky's office. I knew the matter of time before I got busted for what happened next week. When I got to Mr. Winsky's office, he was really mad. Mr. Winsky told me that an anonymous source had informed him that the real culprit of the worm chasing incident. When he told me I was relieved of my safety patrol duties effective immediately, well, it doesn't take a detective to figure out who the anonymous source was, Rowley. Can't believe Rowley went and backstabbed me like that. While I was sitting there getting chewed out by Mr. Winsky, I was thinking, I need to remember to give my friend a lecture about loyalty. Later on today, Rowley got reinstated as patrol, and get this, he actually got a promotion. Mr. Winsky said Rowley had exhibited dignity under false suspicion. I thought about really letting Rowley have it for ratting me out like that, but then I realized something. In June, all the safety patrol officers go on a trip to Six Flags, and they get to take along one friend. I need to make sure Rowley knows I'm his guy. Let me get this for you, Captain. Tuesday. Like I said before, the worst part of getting kicked off safety patrol is losing your hot chocolate privileges. Every morning I got to go to the back door of the cafeteria so Rowley could hook me up. But either my friend had gone deaf or he's too busy kissing the other officers' butts to notice me at the window. In fact, Now that I think of it, Raleigh has been totally giving me the cold shoulder lately, and that's really lame because if I recall correctly, he's the one who sold me out. Even though Raleigh has been a total jerk lately, I tried to break the ice with him today, anyways, but even that didn't seem to work. Hi, pal. April. Friday. Ever since the worm incident, Raleigh has been hanging out with Colin Lee every day after school. What really stinks is that Colin is supposed to be my backup friend. Those guys are acting like totally ridiculous today. Raleigh and Colin were wearing these matching t-shirts, and it made it just want me to vomit. Best friends. After dinner tonight, I saw Raleigh and Colin walking up the hill together, chumming it up. Colin had had his overnight bag, so I knew they were going to sleep over at Raleigh's. And I thought, well, two can play at that game. The best way to get back at Raleigh was to get a new best friend of my own. But unfortunately, the only person who came to mind was Fergley. So I went to Fregley's. I went to Fregley's with my overnight bag. Raleigh could see I had another friend options too. When I got there, Fregley was in the front yard stabbing a kite with a stick. That's when I started to think maybe this wasn't the best idea after all. But Raleigh wasn't in his front yard, and he was watching me, so I knew there was no turning back. I invited Fregley's house. His mom was excited to see Fregley with a playmate, which was a term I was not too enthusiastic about. Me and Fregley went upstairs to his room. Fregley tried to get me to play Twister with him, so I made sure I stayed on 10 feet away from him at all times. I decided that I would just pull the plug on this stupid idea and go home, but every time I looked out the window, Raleigh and Colin were still out in Raleigh's front yard. I didn't want to have to leave until those guys went back inside. But things started to get out of hand with Fregley's pretty quickly. When I was looking out the window, Fregley broke into my backpack and ate the whole bag of jelly beans that I had in there. Fregley's one of those kids who's not supposed to eat any sugar, so in 2 minutes later, he was bouncing off the walls. Fregley started acting like a total maniac, and he chased me all around his upstairs. I kept thinking he was going to calm down off his sugar high, but he didn't. Eventually, I locked myself in his bathroom to wait him out. Around 11:30, it got really quiet in the hallway. That's when Fregley slipped a piece of paper under the door. It picked it up and said, "Dear Gregory, I'm very sorry I chased you with a booger on my finger. Here, I put it on this paper so you can get me back." That's the last thing I remember before I blacked out. When I came to my senses a few hours later, I woke up, cracked the door open, and I heard snoring coming from Fregley's room, so I decided to make a run for it. Mom and Dad were not happy for me getting them out of bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, but the point, I really didn't care less. I could care less. Monday. Well, me and Raleigh have officially been ex-friends for about a month now, and to be honest with you, I'm better off without him. I'm glad I can just do whatever I want without having to worry about carrying all that dead weight around. Lately, I've been hanging out with Roderick's room after school, going through his stuff. The other day, I found one of his middle school yearbooks. Roderick wrote on everybody's picture in his yearbook. You can tell how he felt about the kids in his grade. Jerk, jerk, cool. Every once in a while, I see Roderick's classmates around town, and I have to remember to thank Roderick for making church a lot more interesting. Jerk. But the page Roderick's yearbook that was really interesting was the class favorites page. That's where they put pictures of the kids who got voted most popular, most talented, and all that. Roderick was voted his class favorite page too. Most likely to succeed, nerd, Bill Watson, Kathy Nugent. You know, this class favorite thing was really got my gears turning. If you can't get yourself voted onto the class favorite page, you're practically immortal. Even if you don't live up to what you get picked for, it doesn't really matter because it's a permanent record. People treat Bill Watson like he's something special, even though he ended up dropping out of high school. Well, we still run into him with our family food barn every once in a while. Will that be paper or plastic, ma'am? So here's the thing I'm thinking. This school year has been kind of a bust. But if I can get voted as class favorite, I'll go out on a high note. I'll be trying to think of a category I haven't shot at. Most popular, most athletic are definitely out. So I'm going to have to find something a little bit more in reach. At first, I thought maybe I should really have nice clothes for the rest of the year so I can be best dressed. But that would mean that I would have to get my picture taken. Jenna Stewart, with Jenna Stewart dressed like a pilgrim. Wednesday. Last night I was lying in bed and it hit me. I could go for class clown. It's not like I'm known for being really funny at school or anything, but if I can pull anything off of the big prank right before voting, that could do it. Yow!